No more money for you. It's lazy. You lazy. You lazy. No more money for you.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Ooh. La Migra is getting active today, people. La Migra is out there. They are throwing people in the back of vans. They are clearing out entire Home Depot parking lots. I hear they're just camping out at chicken farms and factories and whatnot, all the meat processing plants. They are running around, snatching people up everywhere. And I'm pretty sure this is exactly what you guys wanted. This is what we voted for. This is what victory looks like.
So Democrats have a new problem with President Trump's border enforcement, ICE agents wearing masks. And Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is even comparing them to a neo-Nazi group. Watch.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131 routinely wears masks.
Mayor, just to clarify, are you comparing ICE to NSC 131 neo-Nazi group and comparing them to that Nazi group?
What I said is that Boston Police and no police department that
ICE agents wear masks for the exact same reason that your Antifa protesters wear masks. Because I don't need you guys showing up to my mom's house after I do my job.
I know of at the local level routinely wears masks.
This comes as ICE agents are facing a 413% spike in assaults. Acting Director of ICE, Todd Lyons, joins us now. Mr. Director, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me.
Democrats want ICE agents to really get hurt. And not like hurt in the line of duty per se, like, you know, you were arresting a dangerous criminal. Like that kind of goes with the territory, even though they want to make that difficult too. But what the Democrats are after is basically low-level domestic terrorism. They want ICE agents' home address to be released so one day somebody beats up your son because you work for the Department of, you know, ICE or whatever. That's how left-wing political pressure really works. They will literally attack your children at school.
So before we get into some of the data that you guys have released, we got to get your reaction to not only the mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, but what the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, said, which is he's going to identify all of your agents, whether you guys like it or not.
And shout out to the Midwest Request. You gifted a membership. Shout out to the new members. And also, thank you so much with the $2 super chat. Like the video, guys. We are just getting into it. We got a lot to cover today. There was basically an insurrection in Los Angeles. It really was the Battle of Los Angeles yesterday. And we got a lot to talk about. So hit that video, hit that like button for me, guys. Shout out to the Midwest Request. Si, senor.
I need that money.
What's your reaction?
Well, Lawrence, I used to say that I was pretty disheartened by some of the political rhetoric, but I've totally changed to it. It's outright disgusting. What Mayor Wu said is completely disgusting. She actually compared us to a neo-Nazi group. And here I am on January 6th, where many of the men of ICE, brave men and women that were veterans, on the day, great day in military history when we defeated the Germans and the Nazi Party, we have elected officials comparing the brave men and women of law enforcement to Nazis. It's completely disgusting. And I've said it before, you know, to the mayor and to the congressman, I'm a victim of that doxing. Last administration, I had mass protesters show up at my house at 3 a.m. coming from other states.
And this is how they plan to stop mass deportations, by physically, personally intimidating the individuals who have to actually carry it out.
Because my name and address got leaked. So I know what the men and women of ICE go through every day. So while they may not like it, what the men and women of ICE are doing in Massachusetts and all over this country is making communities safer. And under Secretary Noem, she is giving us her vision and her leadership to go out there and make these communities safer. And that's what ICE is doing. So to call us Nazis, to compare us to one of the worst groups in history, is disgusting and just outright wrong.
Mr. Director, and I know the men and women of ICE, all the men and women of law enforcement, they don't want to be the story here. But to paint a picture for our audience, how many, just an estimate of your agents have been doxxed so far?
You know, Lawrence, there's so many ongoing investigations going on right now across across this whole nation. Our partners at the Department of Justice have been great. We're bringing cases against these individuals that dogs, but we have, I would say, if not hundreds, thousands. Look in Massachusetts alone. We had an officer, his photo went viral everywhere. One of the best officers, most mild-mannered, nicest human beings on the planet. Yet he was described in the worst way with his photo taped to.
Now, the other day, we kind of did a little dive into the ideas of fascism and liberalism and conservatism and, you know, left wing and right wing. And I pointed out how, although fascism is relatively a neutral concept in and of itself, generally speaking, from a historical context, what we consider fascism was born in Italy under Mussolini, you know, fascismo. And it is a reaction to left-wing political social aggression, right? You know that during the Spanish Civil War, and this is all like, you know, World War II era stuff. I think this was maybe in the 30s, but I think so. It's Franco and the Spanish Civil War, and the Spanish communists, because, you know, they were just that type of guys, they would dig up the corpses of nuns and parade the corpses of nuns around and molest the nuns' corpses because, you know, those are the people who deserve to be in charge, right? And the reason why I bring that up is it raises a difficult question for the forces of polite society, civilization. How do you respond to these type of people? From a government standpoint, how do you respond to this type of threat where they're essentially targeting the individuals and the families of your agents, and you can't let this go unchecked? Like, you have to actually do something about this. You have to prevent this or thwart it or deter it in some kind of way. And all I just sense right-wing fascism. I can smell it coming. Yeah, it's almost right. Big time with the $10 super chat. He says, I still don't undertake how laws work. Lying to a federal agent is a felony. Yet here are people who can physically obstruct arrest from ICE, and most face zero consequences. I think the simple reason for that, big time, is though Antifa wears a mask. Ever since what was it? Remember when all those riot videos came out? And no, it was when the Proud Boys kind of got popular because they were out there beating up on Antifa guys. And the one thing that kind of distinguished the Proud Boys from the Antifas were the Proud Boys didn't really mask up, and the Antifas got, you know, they were fully ninja suited. And what happens is the guys who are visible, they all wound up in jail. Even if you were getting assaulted by a bunch of ninja hippies, nobody can identify the ninja hippies, but everybody can identify that one big dude, Tiny, who right arm cold cocked the hell out of somebody on a famous viral video. He went to jail for that, but all the other people don't go to jail because they're masked up like hippie ninjas. Got to do something about that. Something must be done. I don't know what. Don't ask me. You know, my solutions are like African warlord. You know, everyone must dead like that. But you know, this is why you shouldn't trust me with this type of power, because I tend to go too far.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Hit that like button for me, guys, and be like big time. Y'all smash that super chat button while you're here.
Hulk! Smash! Smash you! You make Hulk angry. You not like Hulk angry. Hulk no like fighting girls.
Every street corner to telephone poles, identifying him just for doing his job.
I want to talk about your operation. It's supposed to be the best nationwide arrest record in history. Over 2,300 of those folks were arrested in one day. How were you able to do that?
Well, Lawrence, I think the best thing we have right now is a whole of government approach.
Numbers. You see that? Putting numbers on the board. Next month, I want you to break another record, man. Crank that up to 25. We need to crack it even 25 in one day. 2,500. Easy.
Be able to do that.
Well, Lawrence, I think the best thing we have right now is a whole of government approach. The whole entire federal law enforcement system understands that President Trump and his administration sees this as a national security crisis. We have had so many unknown individuals that have been released into this country over the past 4 years that it's situations like just happened in Boulder, and it's situations like the heinous crimes that you've seen us take care of in Massachusetts that are happening daily, that we need to go out there with a whole of government approach between us, the ATF, the U.S. Marshals, DEA, Coast Guard, and make sure we're taking these public safety threats out of the street. And that's what we're doing. We're being given all the tools to actually do our law enforcement mission.
You know, Mr. Director, there's been all of this reporting that's been put out there. I know the president, Tom Homan, have said they are targeting the criminals, the worst of the worst. We just had a terrorist who just had an overstayed visa. So we realize that there are real national security threats going on in our country. Some reporting has suggested that you guys are going to work sites and all of that. Can you give us some context of how you decide which place you're going to target, Mr. Director?
Well, Lawrence, I think what we do is we look at the, like I said, the whole situation and the whole scope of that case.
Nah, they're at Home Depot parking lots. They're at chicken plants. They're showing up to construction sites, man. They're just doing whatever it takes.
When people say immigration, they always think it's not a crime. It is a crime. It's federal law that's being broken when someone violates our immigration laws. So while we are focusing on the worst of the worst and a majority of our resources are prioritized on those public safety threats, ICE isn't going to walk away from anyone that's here in the country illegally. If you enter the country illegally, if you're a U.S. business and you're hiring or exploiting illegal aliens that are working, that's a crime. We are going to take that. And
of course, Mr. Director, that means these folks have final deportation orders. I got about 15 seconds, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and Lawrence, what we're doing is we're focusing on those ones that have final orders and that have stayed for so long and that we need to get out of the country.
Thank you, sir. Be safe out there.
Thanks, Lawrence. Appreciate it.
So the Boulder firebombing suspect is back.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. That's too hot for me. That is too hot for me. We don't want to talk about that.
Was injured.
NBC4's Macy Jenkins is live right now with LA Mayor Karen Bass, who just visited with David Huerta, the president of SEIU, in the hospital. Macy.
Hi, Colleen.
Yeah, we arrested union presidents, sending them to the emergency room real quick because he got roughed up. Took the union president on a rough ride. He's like the fruit pickers union or something, like the immigrant job union president or something.
And Michael, well, yes, David Huerta was injured during during some of the chaos happening earlier today. I'm joined with Mayor Karen Bass. She just spoke with him.
Hold up. The Midwest request says one of my relatives got snatched up at his home for effing up. You don't really sound all that heartbroken about that. He must be one of the relatives you ain't really care for.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
You're like, yeah, bro, they just got Uncle Hector, man. I try to tell him, but he ain't never listened to me anyway. Forget about Uncle Hector.
And I'd like to ask her a few questions about that interaction. Tell me, how is he doing right now?
Well, I mean, he is doing okay physically, but I know what really impacted him the most was the emotional trauma of watching parents and kids being separated. There were young children that were there that witnessed their parents being taken into custody, and I think that hit him emotionally very hard. He is being detained by ICE right now. He's going to go into ICE custody, and we hope to get him out very soon. I don't know the reason why he's being detained, but the point is of what happened today was just outrageous. And what worries me the most is the sense of terror that it creates within the community. For example, the raid that happened this morning at Home Depot, where what I hear is that ICE agents were literally chasing people before they captured them. And then tonight, there's a graduation.
They were running down on people. Wait till the Ice Ages bust out with the horseback patrol. I need him to pull up on a horse, just a giant, gallant steed with a lasso. I need him with a lasso. I need a big, bulky white dude with a rope on a giant black horse called Midnight. just chasing niggas through the Home Depot parking lot.
A high school graduation right nearby. Those parents, do I go to the graduation? Am I going to be safe? Am I going to be arrested? It's the type of fear and chaos that happens with these type raids, and it's just completely outrageous and unacceptable. What's your...
You know what's really crazy about this whole thing? And when you big picture the whole thing, the Democrats really do care more about anyone but American citizens. Because clearly an immigration raid, deportation by definition, will target non-citizens. And we are being asked, we are being conditioned, have been conditioned to care more about non-citizens than our own citizens. That is the equivalent of raising your children to care more about outside kids than their own brothers and sisters, right? Like, who actually would raise their children to be more loyal to the neighbor's kids? Only in America.
Your message to Angelenos who see this happening in their city, in a state that we believed SB 54 had created a sanctuary state?
Right, exactly. My message to them is that we are going to fight for all Angelenos, regardless of when they got here, whether they have papers or not. We are a city of immigrants, and this impacts hundreds of...
No such thing as a city of immigrants. Those are colonizers. You are a city of Latino colonizers. We are being colonized by the Latin world. It's a Latin American beachhead in the Southwest. This is colonization. Every sanctuary city is a colonization beachhead. Big time with the $5 super chat. He says, isn't it fascinating that illegals come here, then they create unions, get lawyers, and create legal barriers, all so they don't have to integrate? Yeah. Yeah. Again, what do you do about such things? This is why it's really difficult to convince the white vote to not coalesce purely around white protectionism. I was watching a clip from Heather McDonald the other day talking about race hustlers and whatnot, and how, you know, black people actually do have privilege. And she said something that basically boils down to, she was talking about identity politics, and it's like, either everyone gets to be on their own special team or no one does. And if everyone else gets to group up along their, you know, racial ethnic identities, then so be it. Let the white people in on it too. I mean, how do you stop that? It does kind of feel like the inevitable conclusion, right? How do you stop that from actually coming together? Especially when all the other ethnicities seem to come together for the express purpose of attacking the white ethnicity, right? And so the idea of defending your own group, it starts to just become a no-brainer.
Thousands of Angelenos. And so we are going to have a meeting on Monday with the various groups that work with the immigrant population to talk about what is the plan going to be when these things happen. As you know, this is the federal government. They do not notify. They don't call the mayor's office and say we're coming in to make a raid. They do not call the Los Angeles.
Why would we call you and you're a sanctuary city? You're going to snitch. Why would I call you and you basically a snitch? Like, you work for the ops. You're going to help them out. You're going to be like, hey, listen, you need to go sleep across the street tonight. Don't be in this particular house for the next 48 hours. They're going to come here and get you. Where you want to be is like down the block or something, where you can see them coming. You can watch them moving around. They're not going to expect you if you like 3 doors down or something like that. If you like 2 buildings away, they're not going to expect you there. Why would we tell you this? No. You just got to deal with it when we pop up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Police department and say that. So when these things pop up, we hear from the community first. And now the community is organized to the point where if they hear of an ICE raid happening, then spontaneously people show up to bear witness to what is happening.
They don't bear witness. They actually get in the way.
Can you clarify, LAPD, LASD, they have no role when it comes to these kinds of raids and this kind of enforcement?
That's correct. However, there are instances, for example, what we're hearing about happened earlier where David was arrested, was one of the agencies put out a call for help. And then in that situation, LAPD does show up. We have to examine all of that. We have to examine what happened.
Oh, so they basically call for backup, and because you guys are law enforcement, you are mandated by like some kind of oath or something. You have to show up because, you know, fellow law enforcement was calling for help. Okay, well, that makes perfect sense, because we're going to get to the footage in a hot second, but LAPD was on the ground, and the LA citizens are kind of unhappy about that. They're like, wait, why are y'all helping the feds? And they're like, hey, man, a badge is a badge. Shout out to You Ain't Wrong with the $5 super chat. He says, yo, Hood, who's going to pick that cotton now? We haven't worked that part out
This
yet.
makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
But I showed you guys a video of a girl, actually, like a black girl too. She picked some cotton, jumped out of her little car on the side of the highway, ran in a cotton field, picked some cotton, ran back out. Like, she got in touch with her genetic roots. It's not that difficult. It's not that hard. I mean, we can probably get an AI slave bot to pick cotton in the future. Don't even worry about it. We will solve the problem. I promise you. AI slave bots are coming one way or another. The cotton gonna get picked, bro. Midwest Request with the $2 super chat. He says a catch-22 and the Blade Runner replicant question. We're interesting, strange times, bro. We're going so far into the future that it seems like we're proving a lot of the sci-fi writers right. I'm just waiting for the singularity and then the Terminator revolution.
And why?
Mayor, before I let you go, what's your next move today?
My next move today is to, one, do what I can to get David Huerta out of ICE detention. So I leave the hospital to go look at what we can do to help getting him out. I don't want to see him spend days in ICE detention. That's just absurd. He is one of our most prominent, respected labor leaders in our city.
Do you know what he was doing when he was taken into custody?
I don't know what he was doing. I know that he was on the ground. There were lots of videotapes of that. I know he was sprayed with mace. I know that, or pepper spray, but I don't know what happened before then.
Mayor Karen Bass, the city of Los Angeles, thank you so much for joining us. That's the very latest. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Macy, thank you for that.
Let's talk about Los Angeles. All right. The other day, apparently yesterday, the feds went into Los Angeles to conduct some ICE raids at several locations. And at one location in particular, apparently the public was very agitated. They got involved to the point where some federal agents were essentially trapped inside of some kind of building. I don't know exactly which building. It'd be funny if it was the Home Depot, if they chased the feds into the Home Depot. But they basically trapped some federal agents inside of a particular building, and, you know, it kind of led to an escalated standoff situation. And, you know, LA has got a militarized police force, so they can crack some heads if they actually feel like it. not sure what those explosions are. Probably some kind of tear gas, cloud dispersal. I gotta get me one of those SUVs though. That armored SUV is dope. I need one of those. That is fresh. Can you imagine pulling up in one of those? You're gonna get all the Mexican hoes. Damn, son. I gotta get me one of them. Apparently, one of these guys got in the way of a federal vehicle. The vehicle may or may not have actively been transporting an illegal out of the area, but one of these idiots got in the way of a federal vehicle and he got his head cracked. Like the car kind of smacked him and he fell on his back and cracked his head on the concrete. His brain dead. I don't know if his body dead, but his brain dead now. So that happened. These appear to be some federal agents trapped in a little area here, taking a defensive retreating position. Starting to look very combat-esque on the streets of LA, man. Looking very much like an insurrection. You know, it's kind of insurrection-y out there right now. I don't know what's going on in LA, but getting definite insurrection vibes. You know, this immigration thing is really attacking all of the Western world and even parts of the Asian world too, because I don't know if Asia really counts as the West, right? But still, Japan, Korea, maybe different parts of the world are suffering from the immigration and the demographics and whatnot, but definitely the West, right? And one thing I realize is that, well, one thing that's obvious to anyone paying attention is that all around the Western world, the immigration issue is the issue most likely to cause civilizational collapse. Like, we will devolve into conflict and chaos for this particular reason more than anything else, because it's too personal in a lot of cases. Like when you have a tiny island like Ireland and they're just flooding people day after day and they're building like new barracks for these people to live in, it starts to look like, you know, if we don't do something now, we'll never get a chance to do anything. And it's a problem that's repeating itself all over the West. And you see here in America, the hostile invasive forces or their defenders even, they're willing to fight back, which only escalates the problem even further. Maybe it's just me, you know, it's a little too right-wing fascismo maybe, but I don't know if police should be firing paintballs at people. Paintballs feel like a civilian type of thing.
La migra, la policía, la misma porquería. We see you, LAPD.
There's a new update right here. Aquí está la policía.
See, LAPD is in a bad spot because you all have houses, you all have names that you have to give up. You have to tell us your badge number if we ask you. We can find you. We'll come for your children. Yeah, yes, Jordan 801. I want love rounds. Okay, the police should only be firing love rounds at the people. I only want the police to fire love rounds, Jordan. What the hell is paintballs for? When has a paintball ever stopped the guy?
Ellos son los que estaban haciendo arrestos. They're working together. Otra vez, como les digo, la migra y la policía están trabajando juntos. Ya no son migra, ya no es migra, ahora es LAPD. No, que no te engañen que esta es ciudad santuaria. Estos mismos pinches puercos van y dicen en las reuniones comunitarias que ellos no van a trabajar con la migra, pero aquí están trabajando con la migra. Aquí están listos para empujarnos, pegarnos. Aquí le están dirigiendo qué le van a hacer a nosotros. La migra y la policía están trabajando juntos. Están dejando que se vaya toda la migra por atrás. Toda la migra por atrás, no le vayan a decir. Como le digo, la migra y la policía están trabajando juntos. Aquí en el 15th Street en Santa Fe. 15th Street en Santa Fe. Que no les engañen. Están trabajando juntos la migra y la policía.
Got big time with the $5 super chat. He says the proletariat IDF will return. I give it 24 months. They are the ones who bombed the Baltic Exchange in the 90s. Wait till the grapes start. I guess you're talking about Ireland there. And he says, sorry, I meant the Proletariat Irish Republic Army. They're the IRA. I've been wondering how the IRA would respond to such a territorial threat. Because, you know, if you remember anything about like that whole 90s era, the IRA were, you know, going on a bombing campaign. It was a lot going on back then. And it was, you know, anti-colonial British government stuff. But you would think these guys would be sensitive to new people coming in town. But we'll see. I imagine, like you said, once enough girls start getting abused, people will start to feel differently. I don't expect Ireland to react like Britain. I feel like Ireland will pop off a lot easier than Britain will. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know much about these different UK countries, but I don't know. I want Ireland to be different. I want the Fighting Irish to really be a thing. This is how left-wingers arm themselves for a peaceful protest. We don't have to bring weapons. There are weapons all around us. And notice the impossibility to identify here. All black, non-descriptive clothing. Face identity, your face completely revealed. This is the next move for the right wing. You see, the right wing has this sort of egotistical fascination with, I'm going to show my face. You know, it's almost a very comic book kind of principle, right? Only criminals wear a mask. It's a very comic book principle. Only criminals wear a mask, right? But you know why Batman wears a mask? It's not to protect you. It's to protect the people that you love. The right wing is going to have to start adopting some darker tactics for no other reason than it's effective. Why go out into a protesty type of environment and risk getting your life thrown upside down because your face got put on a camera? Nope, I'm going to go to a right-wing protest in all black with a shiesty mask and some giant sunglasses on. I might have a black MAGA hat. That's the closest I'll get to anything identifiable. All these rocks will later be thrown at law enforcement. Oh, look, these are some nice big rocks right there, too. Ooh, somebody going to the hospital tonight. once you kind of understand what it is you're up against, this is why the helicopter jokes persist on the right wing. This is why Pinochet didn't do nothing wrong.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
When we started seeing some sort of smoke to help try and keep those people from the gate here. Okay, so here we are. We're in the middle of the street here. You can see one person trying to stand right in front of this SUV here, but it's just such a dangerous situation here. And it's really not going to do him any good to be standing there and possibly get ran over by agents. So here they are. They're on 9th Street now. The crowd is running alongside with these vehicles.
From a national order perspective, what do we do about these kinds of people? You think if you give them free bread and free money, they would become better, orderly, well-behaved citizens?
And I'd pretty much guarantee that this SUV is not going to stop. Someone throwing.
Man versus SUV. Oh, I think I stopped it right at the magic moment. I feel like I paused it right at the perfect moment.
Looks like.
Yeah, I did. I caught him right mid-air. Oh, damn. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. First round knockout. Man versus SUV. The SUV obviously won. Down goes Frazier. He is not getting back up. He is not getting up. There are pieces of his medulla oblongata that belong to the pavement now. He's going to have brain matter seeking into the asphalt. It'll never come out now. It's terrible. It's terrible what just happened to that guy. Supreme victory. Ice, ice, baby. Doom, 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 doom.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Oh, wow. All right, let me widen out here. Okay, so we saw some eggs being thrown at the vehicle. Now he was just, partly ran over by that SUV.
And look, now they just drove around him and kept going. That was a great move. That was beautiful. That was dope. That's what I'm talking about. We're not the guys who render aid. The guys behind us, there's a car coming. Somebody coming is going to help that sumbitch, all right? We are not the guys who render aid, yet to infinity and beyond. To infinity and beyond. Oh my God, he's out of here. My man, he got a little airborne too. I caught it right at that perfect airborne moment. It's like he tapped the gas just enough to lift him off the ground. But it's like a 5-ton vehicle, you know what I mean? That little tap is a big tap. Tapped him right out of this world. He's having an out-of-body experience right now. Damn, son. And then they just drove around his body. He's probably in the crosswalk twitching, trying to keep his spirit on the ground. It's like, you guys remember that movie Ghost when Patrick Swayze's soul left his body and all like the dark spirits were out there trying to get him? Nigga's soul fighting right now. That nigga's soul is battling for survival right now. And the SUV just went right around him. Obstacle avoided. Proceed to destination.
And there goes. Getting up. Oh, it looks like a bicycle was also struck in the crosswalk here.
Damn, they hit a bike too? Damn, bro, he's just hitting everybody. So it's not like the last time. You know, the last season of protesting, people would stop. They would be polite. They waited. There was one incident where a guy like drew a weapon and he killed some other guy in Texas, by the way. Free that, bro. But people typically, they let the protest happen. Now it seems like we're in a whole other kind of era. Now we're in a whole other kind of chapter where maybe I don't have to respect your protest. Maybe that was all like a, what are they calling it? A social construct. It's not really real. Like that guy in front of the SUV, he's not really real. He's not like a real person. If I run him over, nothing of value lost, right? There's absolutely nothing bad that happens if that guy gets run over by the SUV.
Doesn't, not really going to prevent them from leaving, but now we have a whole other situation here.
Now we have a whole other situation here. Oh, yeah, I bet we do. Now you got to get ambulance up here. Yes, yes, yes. What do you mean? Look at all the tortas. All the tortas. Oh, stop. This tortas forever. Infinity más tortas. Did he just make a burrito? What did he do with her? He just made a burrito. Hold up. What was that about? Oh, that's the union president guy. He's the president of like the illegal immigrants.
I have a bad showing. Y'all putting hands on women. They be beating their wives up. Y'all be beating their wives up.
The labor union says that he was injured and detained at an ICE raid in Los Angeles while exercising his First Amendment right to observe and document law enforcement activity. We understand that he has been released from the hospital but remains in detention, many calling for his release. We spoke with State Senator Sasha Renee Perez, who talked about the links between the immigrant community and the labor movement and why the arrest of David Huerta is so concerning.
It is such a scary time right now, and to watch this happen, I have people like my mom asking me if they could come for the president of our entire union so brazenly and attack him in this way, then what does that mean for the rest of us?
Should have stayed in his office, man. I don't know what you was down here for. Why is this union business? If your union has illegal immigrants in your union, hey, man, that sounds like a federal problem. You shouldn't have been there.
And I think that's the question that so many of us are asking, that regardless of documentation status, that we're seeing Latinos being targeted. And not just Latinos, but Asian Americans, Black immigrants. It is a very scary time.
Oh, don't try to drag the Black immigrants into this. Let them niggas go home, too. Send them Haitians back. Send the Nigerians back. Send the Cameroonians back. Send all of them niggas back, bro. We good. Trying to clean up Harlem. Trying to make it a Black issue. Nope. Not with it. Take your illegal union president. Get on up out of here. Why do all these illegals look like they have type 2 diabetes and chronic heart failure? They fat, bro. Shout out to Big Time with that 5-ball. Bro, man, America, we feed our people. We feed our illegals in America, all right? You remember Whitney Houston wrote that one song? I believe illegals are the future. Feed them well and let them lead the way. Yeah, that's what we do here, man.
We need our weed. I don't wear it, but we need it.
And you know, we were joking earlier about, you know, firing love rounds into the crowd and all that. And maybe that's a bit extreme, right? But you can't tell me this is a peaceful protest. If this is what a peaceful protest is, I reserve the right to fire love rounds occasionally at somebody who I think deserves it. Choke. Choke. You know, it's so funny. For the first time in 4 years, shout out to Foundational White Wakandan. He says, amazing how quiet the LGBT community has been about this. For the first time in 4 years, Pride Month is unnoticeable. Like last year, you knew it was Pride Month. Like you couldn't walk out of your house without walking into somebody with monkeypox or something. Like it was everywhere. This year, Pride Month is just another month. It's June. That's a protest. It sounds like urban combat. I hear explosions and helicopters, rounds being fired, glass breaking, women crying. This sounds like urban warfare to me. Oh, American Man, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Labor, and of course, we have to come to a place in Congress where it is no longer a political issue, but we see it as an existential issue for the country.
You know, this is a fundamental problem that liberalism has created in America. The anti-natalism of liberals and progressives. And I hate to be crude about it, but who said Neil Young sucks? Go sit in the corner, Daniel. Wait, no, Neil Young. I'm thinking the wrong Neil. Never mind. Never mind. Thinking of Neil. Yeah. Go sit in the corner, Daniel. Anyway. Never mind. The antinatalism, right? It is the responsibility of the children to care for the elderly, aging parents. As a family, let me put it this way. When did the idea of a nursing home come into play? Anybody know that? Like, when was the first nursing home really, well, not the first, but when did nursing homes become a thing that people just did? Because generally speaking, like, if your parents got old and you all lived on a farm together, eventually you would like bury your mom and your dad on a little plot of land, you know, that you owned or whatever, and then life goes on. But we've kind of broken with this sort of bridge between the past and the future, where people stop having such large families, stop having families at all. And so now people are sliding into their old age with none of the family support networks that older people could have relied on once upon a time. And the only thing they can do is ask government to solve the problem. And how does government solve the problem? Well, you can't just make more new people, so we import people. And now you have this situation where as you get old, as you become too old to defend yourself and you have no loved ones to actually rely on, you will be abused by brown third world foreigners.
Come to a place in Congress where it is no longer a political issue, but we see it as an existential issue for the country. If we don't have avenues for people to come here legally to work or to build a home here, I'm going to be really crude right now. We're not going to have anybody around to wipe our asses because we don't have enough people, labor, and of course,
you don't have children who love you. You know, let me tell you guys a really crazy personal story of mine about aging. My grandmother, she was like the matron saint of our family. And she had an older sister. And her older sister kind of mentally slipped at a certain point. She just, you know, she couldn't care for herself. There was a point where she stayed in bed for like a week. We had to call an ambulance. She already lived in like an elderly apartment building. So it was like an apartment dedicated to caring for older people. But it was an apartment building. So, you know, she came and went as she wanted to. But, you know, there was just like, you know, people keeping an eye or whatever. Long story short, she stayed in bed for like a week. Didn't move out of her bed for days. So you can imagine how that is, right? Literally not moving. So, you know, created a whole problem. It's crazy. And at one point, I remember my aunt, she was at my grandmother's house. And I'm talking about my grandmother because everybody went to grandma's house, right? And so she was at my grandmother's house one time. And my aunt, this old lady up in her 80s at this point, known her all my life. All my life, she was like one of my rich aunts too. You know, I had the big fancy Cadillac when I was a little kid. She was an Avon lady, traveled. She was like one of those, like, you know, first black nurses type of thing. Like, she was a part of that generation. She, you know, niggas was still doing shit for the first time. But now she's, you know, a feeble old person who literally can't change themselves. Like, long story short, she's at my grandma's house, and no nurses or nothing like that. It's just us. And nobody was there but me and another cousin and this aunt laying in bed. And I had to tend to her because I wasn't just gonna let her lay in her own mess. Like, I had to tend to her. It's an amazing moment, but you do what you got to do, because I wasn't going to let you just be like that, right? And this is the value of actually having family that care for you in your old age, because imagine what happens when you got nobody and you just get thrown to the wolves. Yeah, Freeman's Journal, boss babes get old too, god damn it. I've seen it personally. I was there. Was knee deep in it. Well, elbow deep. But I was in it. I'm trying to tell you. And you can't fix that kind of problem by importing new family members. Like, that doesn't work in a family dynamic. You can't import new relatives. You know what I mean? And as a nation, it is a similar type of problem. We cannot import new Americans. No, big time. Stop lying about me. You're gonna ruin my reputation. Don't tell any woman that you know that I'm actually a good person. All right. Any woman you meet, tell her I'm a bastard. Tell her I'm an ain't shit nigga. Don't you dare go repeating that filthy lie about me, big time. All right. Can't have you out here telling these hoes I'm a good person. The last thing I need to be is a good person in front of these hoes. Anyway, I'm getting all personal now. Let's get back to politics. It's crazy left-wingers.
The left has a problem with violence. It is in its heart right now.
I don't think it is only the left. I mean, you have literally seen people on both sides committing violence. I think that the problem is not the left. I think it is the extremes on both sides of the party. And that is what's happening. Like, they're the loudest voices, whether the leaders want them or not, and they're the ones who tend to be the most violent. I don't think that's fair to say it's only the left. I mean,
why? But why is it happening? Why do late night comedians go on TV and encourage or coddle or give lip service to this vandalism of what went on with Tesla dealerships and so on? Why are there so many prominent people?
People didn't
like,
get hurt.
I totally get why Luigi
died on January 6th.
Like, why? I don't understand.
Listen, I'm not for vandalism, but like,
it's more than that. They firebomb these things. Like, it's obviously
it's dangerous, but it's happening on both sides.
There are no right-wing people claiming a sanctuary zone and then defending it on the ground with like protesters and whatnot. Political violence is largely a left-wing issue.
What person on the right is committing violence today?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, when you're in power, you don't tend to be the ones that are doing that. But I think after they lost the election in 2020, there was a mob and a person died, and it was a riot at the Capitol. It was crazy.
It was a terrible day, and it should not have happened.
It was a horrible day. And it's not the
let me
only
just check my calendar, and it was 5.5 years ago.
Can we also talk about the fact that someone broke into Nancy Pelosi's house and violently beat up her husband?
You're saying that homeless drug addict is a conservative?
Well, I mean,
yeah, you guys remember when Nancy Pelosi's husband got beat up in what looked like a homoerotic drug exchange? I don't know who was supposed to blow whom, but somebody was not prepared to go through with the deal as discussed, and something crazy happened. You know, speaking of Scott Jennings, let's take another look at Scott Jennings, because he was on CNN the other night. It was his home base over there, but he's always spanking the girls on CNN. He spanked the whole table. Pause.
I've given this example many times. I'll give it again. The bill has a provision that says that if you have a child who is older than the age of 7, you have to meet a higher work requirement level. So
hold on, I gotta stop. I just read this super chat. Holy crap, I gotta stop. See, this is what happens when you get all personal, man. Other people start getting personal too. No, an ancient man. Oh man, bro, listen. The only thing worse than getting old is not getting old, okay? I can't advise you on your deal, bro. You know, we all gotta walk our own lines. But I'm trying to tell you, man, the only thing worse than getting old is not getting old. And I would much rather get old, but getting old comes with indignities. There are some indignities that come with aging, and as relatives, it is your job, duty, burden, however you want to look at it, is to help mitigate those indignities. Because one day it's going to be you, and hopefully, you know what? Actually, there's a Bible story that kind of speaks to that. Right after the flood, what's that weird story about Noah getting drunk after the flood and he was laying there naked or something? And then one of the sons got cursed behind that. I'm not going to pretend to understand it all, but the point I'm trying to make is that as you get older, you kind of want the children to look after you to some degree. It's just a natural part of life. We're only going to be alpha killers for a short window in life, and after that, you better hope your children love you. But Ancient Man with the $10 super chat, he says, thanks for visuals. My lady friend had her mom move in. I thought it was going to be short term, but she has a stroke. All I'm saying is I'm not touching nobody. Well, that's your lady friend's mom. I mean, anyway, it's your lady friend's mom, so it's her burden, really, but her burden is your burden because, you love this funky chick, man. That's just the way it is for guys. Anyway, shout out to Ancient Man, bro. The burden of being the man, bro. That's all that is. The burden of being the man. Sometimes we just got to bear with things. But hit that like button, guys, and appreciate y'all coming through supporting the show tonight. And be like an Ancient Man and smash that super chat button.
Hulk! Smash! Smash you! You make Hulk angry! You not like Hulk angry! Hulk no like fighting girls.
You're a mom, a single mom, and you're the only person. I've given this example many times. I'll give it again. The bill has a provision that says that if you have a child who is older than the age of 7, you have to meet a higher work requirement level. So if you're a mom, a single mom, and you're the only person taking care of a child, and you have a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old or a 12-year-old, the bill says you have to work a lot more. Some people are not going to be able to do that. They may lose their Medicaid. So the bill has provisions in there that create gaps for people. But so look, you can defend that.
No,
I'm just saying be honest
the
about
Senate,
it. That's all I'm
that's
saying.
Where I think
you
the
can't
Senate
just say it's
is
like if you're ineligible, if you're lazy, if you're cheating. It's not those people.
It is, but it is.
It's not just
that's the literal target. It is the literal target here.
It's not target. Everyone deserves health care.
Even illegals?
Every single person in the world deserves
Just for the record, as a candidate, you're for illegal.
This young, cute-faced millennial chick is running for office somewhere, and I think Scott Jennings just one-shotted her campaign.
That's the literal target. It is the literal target here.
It's not target. Everyone deserves health care.
Even illegals?
Every single person in the world deserves
Just for the record, as a candidate, you're for illegal aliens getting Medicaid.
I think everyone in the world deserves
That's a yes.
care.
That's a yes.
I mean,
that's a Democratic position.
It is a yes, but
yeah,
it's a Democratic position. Illegal aliens should get Medicaid.
But I mean, I don't. But
how is it controversial?
How is it controversial to think they don't want someone to die in the hospital because they can't afford it?
I hate to be this guy because, there are men on the platform who are going to agree with her too, but it's weird how she kind of just, we have infinite money so we can spend it on infinite things to help infinite people. Like, why is that such a shocking position? You silly little girl. Just a girl. Girls just be saying stuff, man.
Pays for health care when undocumented people show up at a hospital. Who pays for that?
We all pay for it.
Exactly. Including undocumented people because they actually contribute.
That's the point. That's the point.
We do realize that undocumented
who pays for the welfare system in this country generally?
Taxpayers. And perhaps everyone else that there's no free lunch here, okay? You either have a program.
No, but they contribute.
Hold on. There's a reason that some states have decided to do this. You either have a program that rationalizes those costs, or you just throw the cost onto taxpayers by default. And so people.
What does that mean? A program that rationalizes those costs? That sounds like gobbledygook. A program that rationalize. How does a program rationalize a cost, right? A cost is either a rational thing or it's not. How do you run it through the system of a program and somehow it comes out magically rational? What do you mean by a program that rationalizes? See, these are the words that liberals like to use, progressives really. They come up with phrases that help your brain connect ideas that otherwise wouldn't be close enough to even form a connection. There's no real practical way to get from why should I spend money on all of these illegal immigrants to a program that somehow rationalizes the cost. That's a bridge phrase. So in my mind, I can like connect dots that don't even exist. If you're not like a critical listener, if you don't automatically start from a position that these people are full of shit, you might not really catch what's happening. And then that program will do its magic in your subconscious. Or you start to rationalize things that you shouldn't rationalize. Ooh, True Hype with the $10 super chat. He says, I've had 2 family members that work for a private company that had government contracts to help care for old, mentally challenged individuals. And the levels of indignities as well as abuse, neglect is cray. What did I say earlier, True Hype? It is your curse to be abused by brown foreigners as you get into your older years. The videos going around are crazy, bro. I'd rather live alone and just struggle till I can't make it no more. I don't want to put myself in the hands of some angry attitude, uppity third worlder. Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
Shout out to True Hype with that $10 super chat. I'm going to say it one more time. Be like True Hype, y'all. Smash that super chat button.
Hulk! Smash! Smash you! You make Hulk angry. You not like Hulk angry. Hulk no like fighting girls.
We're kind of off topic, but this is an interesting question. Freeman's Journal says, what happens to the ocean of baby mamas when they go to the nursing home? And then Carmen says, Freeman's, I mean, if they have hella kids. Well, Carmen's Journal, this is the thing with the ghetto baby mama, and this is why like Section 8 and all that exist. One, you're talking about like the shotgun approach, right? So you're just having a bunch of kids, right? But the problem with the shotgun approach is that it's not targeted. So the idea is that these kids grow up to be capable. And most of the baby mama's kids aren't going to be capable adults. Now, you might have that one, probably a female, good government job, and she might be able to do something for mama into the older years. And that all depends on their relationship too. But hey, that is kind of the strategy, man. I'm gonna spit out a bunch of little bastards and hope one of them makes it to the NFL.
People who have insurance end up paying a lot more because they're subsidizing people who don't.
Can I make a different argument, though? Can I make one different argument, just so we can kind of level set? Like, for example, if you actually go through with this and the number of people on Medicaid decreases, what happens in rural places like Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, where I'm from, that means that hospitals are more likely to close down. Healthcare providers are more likely to shutter. What happens when a hospital closes in a poor rural community? Well, one second. Do you know what happens when that happens? That means the pharmacy closes down. That means the little motel closes down. That means the florist closes down. The restaurant. It destroys your entire economy around it.
So by definition,
so many hospitals closed since
by
because they're
definition,
afraid of the liability.
according to your
logic train.
Yes.
We need to let more illegal aliens into the country,
I'm
give
not-
them more health
no,
care to
first of
keep all the hospitals.
let me tell you what I'm saying.
Are you for it or not?
Can I start my logic train?
More Mexicans. We have to keep the hospital open. More Guatemalans. We have to keep the daycare open. More El Salvadorians.
Are you for it or not?
My logic train starts with
Just-
the fact
just
that
say
I don't
yes.
want to kick 11 million people off
Do you
of
want
Medicaid.
the illegal aliens on or not?
Do I want first of all, do I want undocumented citizens to
Just
have
say
health care?
yes.
The answer is yes.
Scott,
Okay.
if someone is
More
undocumented,
Democrats.
do you want them to not get in?
You can't even say illegal alien. Why you can't say illegal, bro? Why is it hard for you to admit that they're illegal? Like, we wouldn't be kicking them out of the country if they were legal, right? That's the whole point of mass deportation, right? You don't deport the legal.
Insulin if they're diabetic?
I want Medicaid to exist first and foremost for American citizens who need it. That is what I
what
want.
about second? I mean, first and foremost, of course. But
I
you,
want
you
the
also,
program
do you
to
realize,
exist and be
do you
solvent for
realize
the
that?
people who
Do you
need it.
realize that? Do you realize that when people show up at your hospital, that we actually pay for that? Do you understand that when people get sick,
I know
or
how
when
it
they?
works.
How about this? How about this? When the people that are
passionate.
picking your peach.
Really, so passionate about the non-Americans. I've never seen Democrats care this much before. When was the last time Democrats cared this much about regular American people? But let one brown third worlder from halfway around the world have a bad day, and half the Democrat Party gets on a plane.
Yeah, I'm passionate
Very
about Americans.
passionate for the illegals.
Sorry,
No, I'm passionate for
How dare you
Americans.
want people to be alive? How dare you?
Passionate for the illegals.
You
Bring
know-
more.
No, I actually want
But yes,
safe and secure borders.
You need more. To make your vision of America work, we need more illegals who get more benefits. That's your version of America.
No, what I want from America is a place that was promised to us, Scott.
To the
Like
illegals?
Yeah, who promised the illegals? Who promised America to everyone in the world? Do you really think the founding fathers planned on extending all of these rights to everybody?
No, it was promised to us. It was promised to us, not us, me and you, black and white, brown. Scott, do you?
I don't remember no Brown in the Civil War. All right, you can put a black and white narrative on the Civil War, definitely. I don't remember no Brown during the Revolutionary War. Maybe I forgot, maybe there's some secret Mexican-American Revolutionary War hero guy, Francisco Revolucionario Americano. There's some guy. Maybe there's a guy. I don't know. But as far as I know, black and white is pretty much the American dichotomy. You niggas started saying brown back in the 80s because these chicks wasn't having enough babies and you need to pump your numbers up. That's really what the Brown Coalition is. You're really trying to capitalize on the efficiency of Maria's womb. You can't get Keisha's womb to pump out enough race war soldiers anymore, so you need to use the Brown numbers because Maria goes to work and still has 4 children.
You think that your family was born here? You weren't born here, Scott.
I was born in
First of all, where
Springs.
does your family come from? My family wasn't born here. My family was actually from Sierra Leone.
Oh, you don't even get the promise neither, nigga. What you mean your family wasn't born here? See, I can at least say half of my family goes back to a plantation. My daddy got Caribbean slave blood, but my mama's side is straight up plantation. We slave niggas on both sides. Your family come from the people that would have sold my people. You was an African. You was a whole African. Now you talk about the promise. Ain't nobody promised you niggas nothing in Africa. Nobody in America promised these Africans a goddamn thing. This nigga talking about the promises. Nobody promised you nothing, nigga. I don't know what you talking about. My family came from Sierra Leone. We didn't promise you niggas shit, boy.
You're making a passionate argument for a country built on unfettered illegal immigration, and that is not anywhere near a politically popular position.
Our country is built on immigration, period.
What kind?
Period.
What kind?
Okay. Oh, and first of all, before we go to commercial.
Look at Scott. Look at Scott. It's too easy. It's too easy, man. It's like, you know how hard it is to be the only guy with an above 100 IQ in the room? This is just too easy.
Near a politically popular
Our country is built on immigration, period.
What kind?
Period.
What kind?
Okay. Oh, and first of all,
what kind of immigration?
What kind of immigration was I brought here?
You're already in the hole. You sure you don't want to stop digging?
Because it was slavery. That's not immigration.
No, look. The very first immigration act that this country wrote into law was for white men from Europe, not just any parts of Europe, but from like England and Germany or whatever. You know, from the respectable parts of Europe. Not none of them shady Eastern Europeans. We didn't get Eastern Europeans until like after the 1920s. After we got the Fed, that's when we started to get Eastern Europeans showing up over here working all their magic. Before that, it was like respectable white men from classical Europe.
Well, okay.
Come on, what?
All right, there's a lot to be said.
Hold on. No. But you can't say come on when somebody's like, my family was brought here in chains. The answer is not come on.
We're going to continue.
Nigga, nobody promised your Sierra Leone family anything then, bro. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you mean by this. Nobody promised you nothing. You got to rethink your whole position here, bro.
Continue the conversation. There's a lot to be said about when immigration laws came into play in this country and how many people who came to this country as immigrants had neither legal nor illegal status and just were able to come. But that's a different story for another time. We have much more of this conversation ahead.
Damn it, Abby. Everybody caping for the illegals. Everybody wants to cape for the illegals. The illegals are getting snatched up out of places they thought they were safe, bro. Look. Nigga thought he was going to go to court today. Look, I got to go to court. I got a hearing. My lawyer right there. Says, in Seattle, ICE in Seattle drag woman into elevator while her lawyer is in the bathroom. Caught you lacking. Like, oh, your lawyer got to piss. Back to Mexico.
Hey, you can't manhandle her into an elevator. You're manhandling her into an elevator. Lawyer's in the bathroom.
Hold on, let's get her lawyer.
Her lawyer's in the bathroom. That's why they're taking her now. Kate, they're taking your client.
Nobody told you to go take a leak. What you doing trying to run to the bathroom? Don't you know it's war on outside? That's your fault. You got caught lacking. Now your client is in the back of a van going to Guadalupe. That's your fault. Next time, don't drink any coffee. Just get up and grind. That's it. Just get up, wake up, dress, grind. That's it. Just wake up, get dressed, grind. No coffee, no tea. Don't even vape or nothing. Just grind. Because if you turn your back for 1 second, we taking that little girl back. I mean, we taking your client. We taking your client back to Mexico, all right? That lady's going back to Mexico. You turn your head for a minute. Better pee in a jar.
She's fainting, Kate. Dude, she's fainting on the hallway. Wait until get medical.
No.
You can't. You want a medical? You can't transport her.
Yeah, we can.
Get medical services. Come on.
No.
Hey, you can't manhandle her into an elevator.
Yeah, we can.
You're manhandling her into an elevator. You're manhandling her into an elevator, dude.
Don't worry. There's doctors where she's going. Don't worry. There's doctors in Mexico. Since when Mexico don't have doctors, man? I hear Mexico got the cheapest prescription drugs in this whole hemisphere. All of a sudden, they don't have doctors in Mexico. She gonna be all right, bro.
Support her.
You need to leave her.
Get medical services. Come on.
No.
You can't manhandle her into an elevator. You're manhandling her into an elevator. You're manhandling her into an elevator, dude. Her lawyer's in the bathroom. Hey, you can't manhandle her into an elevator.
You know what? I think I didn't even notice this when it came up, but shout out to my man Jamar with the 20 ball for the Saturday show.
A lot of people seem to not understand me.
Science proves that the black woman is God. We're not just saying that.
And the black and Latino woman, they manifested themselves out of dark matter energy. All right.
I believe the black woman is God.
Is the Latino woman God too? Hold up, you heard what the black and Latino woman, they manifested themselves out of dark matter energy. What is going on here?
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please. Like,
shout out to my man Jamal with that 20 ball for the Saturday show. Hit that like button, y'all. Support the show. Like the video, man, and smash that super chat button.
Hulk! Smash! Smash you! You make Hulk angry. You not like Hulk angry. Hulk no like fighting girls.
And conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years...
Yeah, they brought Kilmar back. You remember last couple of weeks they were going to El Salvador trying to get Kilmar back? Like, the Democrats were literally fighting for a criminal immigrant with Kilmar. His name is basically Kilmore. And the Democrats went to El Salvador, a bunch of them. They went over there to fight for Kilmore. And so Trump did an interesting move. He said, all right, I'm going to have to get El Salvador to release him back to us officially, which they did. And now he's back here for drugs trafficking, human trafficking, and I even think he's got some kitty videos. He's doing a lot. Kilmore did a lot, bro. Kilmore has ran the gamut of all evil criminal activities.
Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women.
Worked on one house for like 6 weeks, and now he's a contractor. That's how they get you, bro. Stop believing everything you read, man.
He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country. MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country. Thousands of illegal aliens were smuggled. This is especially disturbing because Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit.
When you say transporting minor children, I'm going to assume that maybe occasionally you might have did more than just ride them around in your van. I'm just going to assume the worst. I'm just going to go ahead and allow myself permission to assume all evil.
There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico. This is part of that same ring.
Yeah, we got a lot of illegals on the highways now. Between the illegal Latinos and the illegal Jeets, man, it's like Mad Max Road Warrior on the highways, man. I'm trying to tell you, it's rough out there.
The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators who were under his control, while transporting them throughout our country. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics throughout our country on multiple occasions.
Kilmore was the plug, y'all. Kilmore was the plug for anything. You want to buy a Guatemalan? You want to buy a little Mexican girl? You want to buy a gun? You want to buy some scent? Just go to Kilmore. Kilmore could get you anything.
They were using vehicles, SUVs, with added seats in the back, floors that had been ripped out, guns, narcotics, children, women, MS-13 members.
I told you Kilmore was the plug, man. Kilmore was just everything. Whatever you want. Anything you want. Anything you need. Anything you want done, baby. He was on it.
That is what the grand jury found. A co-conspirator alleged that the defendant solicited nude.
Yo, Kilmore will cut the hell out of your grass. I'm trying to tell you. You need your grass cut? Call Kilmore, man. He gonna have your edges lined up beautifully. Kilmore gets you anything.
Photographs and videos of a minor. A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother.
Hey, one of your ops' mom's talking crazy? Call Kilmore. How one of your ops' mom's talking crazy to you and you know a nigga like Kilmore? How that even makes sense, bro? Nah, chill. You don't even know I got Kilmore on speed dial and your mom's talking to me crazy like you don't even know me? Oh, man. Oh, man. Listen, they took Kilmore out the game. You know how much dirt Kilmore was putting in, man? Kilmore was doing a lot of work, man. Kilmore was working overtime for the Democrats, man. They took down one of the all-stars right there. Look, another courtroom snatching. ICE is at your court hearing. You thought you got your case dismissed? Nah, buddy.
Wait a minute. Hey. Jesus.
Get off, guys. You're obstructing a federal arrest. Obstructing a federal arrest. Get on the ground. Get back. Get back. Get back. Back up. Stop fighting. Stop resisting. Stop fighting. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Hey, arrest this. Hey, get the fuck back. Get back. Get the fuck back. Back up. Hey, please, ma'am, back up. Hey, back up. Look, señor, hermano ahora. Ya. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
He's not fucking resisting.
I'll get him. Get him up.
You gotta get back up. Just give us space.
You gotta get back.
You can get hit. Just get back.
I'm trying. Get FPS up here. Get FPS up here.
Watch out. Just watch out. You gotta get back. Just try to get some off the ground.
You gotta get back. You gotta get back.
Someone get his name. What's his name and a contact with the left?
Guys, move. Everybody get out of the way. Move. Stay back.
I'm a citizen. Get the other person saying it's more important.
Back up. Back up. Back up. Hey, that's us. Very good.
Meet you at the court. It's going down. Standing with your judge. It's going down.
she's not allowing anyone to speak. It's clear that the respondent is not aware of his rights in the courtroom. He keeps asking what's going on, and she just reiterates that the department has broad discretion and is moving to dismiss.
I guess it's like anyone who's not in the courtroom and anyone who's not.
Criminal search warrant is signed and approved by a federal judge. You are being reviewed as federal law enforcement officers and carrying out our official and lawful duties. If you do not observe immediately, you may be arrested and charged with a crime. You are federal law enforcement officers, lawful criminal search warrant is signed and approved by a federal judge. You are impeding on our duties as federal law enforcement officers, carrying out our official and lawful duties. First immediately, you may be arrested and charged with a crime. You are federal law enforcement officers executing lawful criminal search warrant that is signed and approved by a federal judge. You are impeding on our duties as federal law enforcement officers, preventing us.
Bro, they locked the ice inside the business.
We are federal.
So they had ICE agents basically trapped inside that building, and they were outnumbered, outgunned, had to wait for backup. Now, you see, this is obviously California. Well, theoretically outgunned big time. Well, we don't have to be a stickler for English here. But I want to jump to across the pond here. This is in Ireland. We were talking about Ireland earlier in the show when I pointed out how globally immigration is the one issue across the West that could spark civil conflict in several different countries, Ireland, the UK, America. There's a lot of problems here with this immigration thing. People are not happy.
Get them off him! Get them off him! Get them off him! Get off him! Get off him! Get off him! Get off him!
The interesting thing comparing this Ireland scene to what's happening in America is in America you have the let's just kind of be direct with it. It's mostly an ethnically non-white immigrant population that are defending what you saw on the ground in Los Angeles, right? Because it's Los Angeles. In Ireland, though, you have the native white population being attacked by their own government in defense of a hostile non-white immigrant population. And shout out to the Midwest Request member for 2 months. Shout out to the longtime members that he says they about to get a 24-pack of federal charges. He was talking about those people in LA. Yeah, the whole thing is going to be a mess, man. Globally, we're all headed for hard times, man.
You fucking scumbag bastard!
Fucking hell, that shit.
But yeah, these are scenes on the ground from Ireland, and obviously, like I said, the immigration issue just won't go away. Globally, this is the flashpoint of the entire Western world right now. Let me see, what is this right here? More Ireland. Let's go to another scene from Ireland. Damn shillelaghs are running amok. The major difference between these UK countries or European Union countries in general and America is the average American citizen has access to more firearms than the average law enforcement professional. Like your average cop has a sidearm, they might have a shotgun in the car. I could outgun you in a phone call. It's not like that in the UK. Like in the UK, the cops mostly don't even have guns. They just literally beat you with sticks because nobody's really allowed to have guns. Creates a different type of environment. For example, speaking of interesting environments, this is London. Pakistanis and Indians clash in London because diversity is our strength, right? Can you imagine the smell? Oh my God. Pakistanis and Indians clashing in London? God. It looked musty. My screen suddenly, it looks musty out there. There's like a weird musty haze over the video. I don't know what kind of, is this a digital effect or some kind of bad camera quality? I swear there is a musty haze over this video. I didn't even realize you could capture funk on a camera lens. Like that's like trying to record a fart. Like you can't really videotape a fart, but apparently you can kind of capture funk on a camera though. This is wild. They like really musted up the camera lens. This is a musty video. How do you make a musty video? And it's like in public, like the wind didn't blow it away or nothing. Like the must is like heavier than the atmosphere. So it just kind of sits there like a heavy fog of must. and then the camera just catches the whole thing. Wild, bro. This is amazing. Must. They even playing musty music. Oh my God, that's crazy. Even the music is musty. Anyway, let's get back to America. Illegals in North Carolina and their supporters are reportedly using a Zello channel called Punteros de Hielo, translation ice pointers, to track and avoid immigration enforcement. Oh, they're getting wise. They have.
Desafortunadamente esas cosas en estos momentos están pasando aquí en Carolina del Norte, para ser más precisa, en Garner, Carolina del Norte. Llegaron a unas trailers y a parecer se llevaron a algunas personas. A causa de eso hay personas que pues sí pueden salir a la calle porque obviamente sí tienen papeles. Nos han dicho que bajemos la aplicación de Sello. Sello es una aplicación como un walkie-talkie donde ustedes van a poder escuchar en momento real las personas que van a salir a las calles y van a estar vigilando.
I swear, I'm like one more girlfriend away from becoming fluent in Spanish.
Por dónde están para dar la ubicación exacta. Una vez que ustedes hayan bajado esta aplicación, por favor, les pido que busquen este canal. El canal se llama Punteros de Hielo. Esto solamente es para todas las personas de Carolina del Norte y a sus alrededores, por favor. Ustedes pueden venir y meterse. El grupo al parecer es público, entonces vengan y únanse. Eso también lo puede hacer toda la gente de, no sé, otros estados.
They got a whole ice tracking network just so you don't get caught slipping. But you got to really speak Spanish if you want the plug, though. I ran into this a lot in my life, man. You really got to speak Spanish if you want the plug for a lot of things, man. The game is changing. Things just ain't the same for gangsters, man. You gotta know a little Espanol if you really want to be plugged in, man. It simply is what it is. Well, anyway, hit that like button, y'all. I think we have come to the conclusion of today's festivities. Well, maybe a little bit more. Oh, yeah, ice at Home Depot. Oh, well, we're not done yet. Ice at Home Depot. Yo, they really locked down the Home Depot. Like, look at this is the gate to the Home Depot. And the ICE agents are like, you shall not pass, bro. What's going on? This is the Alamo 2025, bro. Shout out to the Midwest Request. Home Depot is the Alamo in 2025. They really locking down Home Depot. I never thought I'd see the day. I can't imagine all the good things that have been happening. All you had to do was vote Trump. Look at all the magic that's happened since we got Trump in office, though.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
This has been amazing. Voting for Trump the third time, it was even better. It's almost better that they took the little break in between. So we had the first Trump administration and everything was cool. Life was good. And then, COVID, and then they got Trump up out of there. And then we had 4 years of potato and thought. And things got really bad during the potato thought administration. If he wasn't being a potato, she was being a thought. And things just kept getting progressively worse. And then Trump came back to clean up the potato thought mess. And wow, it's just been one scene after the next of pure right-wing Kino. Was that a Mexican with a Palestinian scarf on? I'll be so confused. It's a Palestinian Mexican. I dare you to block them. That's going to be the next one. Somebody's going to try to stop a truck, and they're going to be like, I remember that Reginald Denny thing from the Rodney King riots. You guys remember Reginald Denny? Never stop, never stopping. I'm trying to tell you. Don't stop. Whew. What a day. What a day. A little bit of a civil war in Los Angeles, man. We can't have a civil war for immigration, though. That just doesn't feel right. Like, does the left really want to wage civil war to bring in more immigrants? That's just the dumbest civil war thing. But Trump is putting some pressure on California, though. Trump is definitely putting the pressure on California because, California is like ground zero for all the woke left-wing stuff. But we can't have a civil war for illegal immigrants. This is just not going to work out. There's no way. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. We're going to put this one in the bag. Appreciate you guys coming out today. Enjoy your Saturdays. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Yeah, Foundation, hit me up on Rumble. But support the show. Matter of fact, actually, listen, if you got my Twitter link, follow me on Twitter. Leave that stuff on Twitter for me. Give me the link on Twitter. I can actually keep it there better. But I'm going to get up out of here, man. I will catch you guys later. Might come back tomorrow with another show. But in the meantime, you guys have a great day. Shout out to all the warriors in the Battle of Los Angeles.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help black people.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.